Let's talk a little bit about remote work, because more companies, of course, jumping on that wagon, willingly or not, right? At the same time, there are a bunch of skeptics there saying that technology is not going to replace that chemistry in the room, so on and so forth, right? So let's start with very non-tech conversation, because human create the environment, okay? It's not the fabulous fancy tech. It's rather, the way leaders behave, the way people want to collaborate, and the way the culture leading us. So what did you find in like jumping in remote work first, and then of course bringing it to 3D? What are some of the lessons? Mm-hmm.
Well, surprisingly, I would actually argue that most companies should not be remote. And the reason why they should not is that it's very hard. The image I use when I recruit people is to say, if you go to the gym, you've got a trainer maybe, or even if you don't have a trainer, and Yamina is an athlete. She did many Spartan race, and she's actually in the top bracket in her group. Very, very impressed by what she did there. But if you go to the gym, or if you go to a Spartan race, you've got a trainer, you've got a coach, you've got your colleagues, you've got the environment, you self-motivate each other. Imagine that instead of doing that, you're alone in your basement with a dumbbell. Okay? Nobody's there to cheer you up. Nobody sees your effort. Nobody is impressed by how you're getting in shape. You don't see an example of what they do. You're alone in your basement. That's what it is to work from home. It's very hard. It requires very good motivation. And I would argue that anybody who works from home successfully is more motivated and more, I would say, dedicated to his or her than someone who works from an office. It's harder. And because of that, I think it's not for most companies and not for most people. And on top of that, I believe that it's very difficult, but that's a very personal opinion. Most people disagree with me on that, to be hybrid as a company. In our company, it works because everybody works from home. If we had half of the company working the headquarters in proximity with me and the other executives, and the other one at the periphery, it will be like second-class citizens.
So unfair.
And it's very difficult to have the same relationship between half of the company remote and half the company in headquarters. So I believe it's wonderful. I believe that small companies have a great advantage over big companies, and especially small companies that are willing to go all in and use technology. And technology has a big role in, of course, the metaverse. We're going to talk about it in a second. But and the reason why it's so important and so difficult to work remotely is that as animals, humans are animals, advanced animals, we are hardwired for physical proximity. If I'm close to someone, I care about that someone. They exist more to me than they're far away. Someone close to me can help me or hurt me. Someone on the other hill, or someone I cannot see, they don't exist to me as much to my reptilian brain, so to speak. So we are hardwired for physical proximity. And what the metaverse does is that it tricks us back into a proxy of physical proximity, right? But because of that too, it's very hard to care the same way about coworkers you never meet, or you meet very rarely, right? So I think that people who are very motivated by remote work, first, congratulations, I'm on your camp. I build my company completely that way, and I will never do anything else. Never. I will never have a headquarters. But it's hard, and it's hard, especially on the workers. They don't realize sometimes how much dedication and a higher level of effort. It's not better, by the way, it's not better work-life balance, because often it's work-work balance.
Correct.
I was on that ship for many, many years, Bruno. I am one of those who love remote work, okay? I was able to manage, like you said, work-life balance and all that. And with technology that was not there yet, as much as, of course, we're able to connect right now and really have a good time and really be productive online. So, Yamina, your experience, because almost we jumped to employees, customer experience, leadership experience. Could you share some of the points that you're finding, relevant? Mm-hmm.
I mean, most certainly, in terms of working remotely, I would say that I've started working remotely like from 2003 onwards. So I've always done that. And I so agree with what Bruno just said, is that one thing that it requires is enormous discipline, because you are so you need to be focused, you need to be dedicated to your work. But also, maybe where I would disagree is the fact that having an hybrid environment is not too bad, because if you, for example, what we used to be doing is some people were working remotely, but then once a month we would have 2 days in the office where the whole team would get together and share the objectives, the goal, what has been done, and where to move forward. So the major decisions were taken and everybody was going back to their home offices to do the work. So again, I've been doing that for the last 20 years. My team, at the beginning, when I set up the team before COVID in San Francisco, I wanted it in an office. And since COVID, I stopped it, obviously, and I'm not going to go back to having an office again. That's for sure. I'm not going to go back. But I think also that there's no right or wrong answers. And what the big tech are doing, and you see some want all the staff in the office. Some are saying you can work remotely everywhere, whenever you want. There's no right or wrong answer in this one. I think it's mostly, at the end of the day, you've got a job to do, and whatever works for you, do it.